Hello, beautiful souls. I think I want to amp it up a little bit today. And I want to talk about that existential fear that I mentioned the other day. And the real fear that we are all walking around with is to take off that mask that we are wearing. Not the one we started wearing, or some started wearing 4 or 5 years ago. I'm talking about the mask that we all wear, pretending we are not good enough, not lovable, separate from each other, having to work hard to prove that we are okay, that we're lovable. That mask that is covering the real truth of who we are, which is love, which is a sovereign power that is connected to everything, that is not trying to be better than others or needing to prove itself. But that's what the mask does. So many times when I talk about the light inside, this light, when we know how to use it right, it becomes a fire, a really, really bright fire that is gonna burn up the mask. And this is what we are afraid of. We are holding on so tightly to this mask because, oh my God, what if I had to really be responsible for who I truly am and be the power, be um, the, the courageous, not holding back energy, but just the one that just comes out. It doesn't come out harshly. It doesn't come out in an angry way, but it does when we are trying to express who we are through that mask, because the mask is holding it back so it doesn't come out in its purity. It comes out twisted and thwarted. And that's why many times it sounds like we are harsh or others perceive us as being harsh. We may be harsh for sure because we're still afraid to come out from behind that mask. So, what most people are trying to do, and I have certainly gone through that myself, is to beautify the mask, make it look or sound more loving, more spiritual. And what good does that do? You're just strengthening the mask because you are afraid to be seen in your full glory as love, as one. Then you can't point fingers at other people anymore. You can't blame others. You can't say, I'm right and you're wrong. It does not exist without the mask. That is the mask of duality that messes things up. And of course, we have lived with that mask for a reason, for a very long time. I have heard in the past, that was even when I lived in Denmark, from a spiritual teacher back in the 80s, that there is that the divine, which is all one, suddenly there was some kind of a longing for the opposite and to start knowing itself other than just one. Because when you're all one, you don't really know who you are. It's just all one. There's no ability to reflect back. So if this is true, this is not something I have realized in myself, so take it for whatever it is. But if that's true, that the one started longing for a reflection of itself, then that reflection may have started out very innocently and very beautifully because there was just love being reflected back, beautiful. But then somehow it may have taken a turn to something that was not longed for, maybe in the divine. Who am I to say? I don't know. But it turned out that it became this whole mask where we forgot that we were just reflecting back the light to ourselves. And then, for whatever reason, that mask got so real and so thick and so convincing that we forgot that we are that light and that we may still know it inside. You know how often I talk about the longing. We are longing for that light. We are longing to come back home to the oneness, to the light, to the love. And that is why we have never fully turned away from it, or at least most of us. I wonder if there are people out there, those that we consider very dark, that they have gone so far away from their light that it just seems like a darkness coming out of them. But again, I'm not saying that. I do not believe that. I do believe that that light is always lit, even though it's a tiny little pilot light. And that little pilot light can get our attention when we turn towards it. So here we are. We have this thick mask, and there is still this longing to come back to the oneness. But we have become afraid of that light. We have become afraid of our own beauty, our own love, our own light. And that's why we keep hiding it. Another layer of the mask. Let's also put this protection on here. And then there are so many ways to beautify that mask. There's all the self-help. There's all the manifestation, all that things that we have all been involved in and probably still are. It's all for the mask. Once the mask comes off, the light is there and the fullness, the fulfillment of who we are is there. There's nothing to want, to long for, to create. There is just a resting back over and over and over and ask that light, that presence, that love to remind us, to show our original blueprint, to remind us, to let us have that experience again of who we truly are. But as long as we're out there dabbling with creating and improving and beautifying the mask, you're not going to find who you are. You will be in this turmoil over and over, and you will never, ever be fulfilled. And I think you already know that, to be honest with you. I think you know it. But it's so hard to believe that letting all that go is the answer. So just imagine this is, of course, not possible if everybody all at once let go of the mask. And maybe it is possible. Maybe it is possible. I have heard that there might be this mega event where will remember who we are. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if I believe it. I really don't know. I'm open. But then there would be an immediate letting go of the mask and fully remembering who we are. That might be a little intense for some people, but it might also be amazing. But let's just imagine if you and I are just consciously deciding, I'm going to take off my mask. I want to know who I am. And then put all your attention on that. And every time you catch yourself trying to improve your mask or to manifest some additions to the mask, which is all part of the illusion. where there is lack, where there is not enough, where we have to either work really hard to get our needs met, or we have to be a really good manifester to get our needs met. And all along, underneath the mask, there is our fulfillment. There is everything we long for. What if that's really true? I think you know that it's true. I really do. I think most of us know that this is true, but only because we're so identified with this mask. It's almost like we don't have enough energy, we don't have enough fire to burn it up so we can see it. So, how about taking a break from working so hard on yourself and trying so hard? And just for a moment, a day, a week, a month, or longer if you can, depending on your situation and the thickness of the mask, to just stay in an open prayer position where you just ask, where you just admit that you do not know how to change this, how to take off your mask. And that's true, we don't know. But but if we try to take it off, we're probably using a part of the mask. So we're adding to it. We're just feeding the mask with another part of the mask. And it stays, and we get frustrated. So here's my invitation. Can you do this for an hour, a day, 2 days, a week, whatever? And just practice not engaging, not trying to beautify the mask, not even trying to purify it. Leave the mask alone. Become aware of when you are identifying with the mask and trying to change it. It's a huge, huge task, what I'm suggesting here. So just take it in smaller bites, but at least start becoming curious about this whole structure. And the structure is so deep and intense that we don't even know about it. I have shared with you recently that there's been some huge structures that I just realized, like, oh my God, this is something that's always been there, and I didn't really know what it was. I know it was uncomfortable. Part of me was resisting it or trying to work with it, but suddenly I saw it. And then there's been like, okay, this is not who I am. I know who I am because I have that connection to my presence, my I am presence. This is not who I am. And I'm not going to feed it anymore. At least I'm going to do my best. And then I'm going to ask my I am presence, my divine essence. I'm going to open up and say, okay, I see it now, but I have no clue how to not identify with that anymore and how to slip in deeper here so my true light can shine more and burn up, dissolve this other structure. Are you up for it? It's not hard to do it. It's just bringing awareness to where you put your attention and what you identify with. That is a big task. I know that. But you can't see the whole thing at once anyway. So how about just doing it in a way where you can start catching yourself when you do something and then pause or even stop and then make a choice and say, okay, this is not who I am. And then you can go to the divine in whatever way works for you, in whatever way resonates for you. And you open up and you ask for help. Show me. Show me who I am, what I am. Show me what I forgot about myself. and show me how to not keep engaging with that false, separate sense of self, with that mask. Show me how to take off the mask and feel safe enough because I am resting in something that is much, much bigger. Please comment. Please reach out if you need support with that. This is what I love to do. The link will be in the description below to connect with me. And if you want to explore this more in a little group online, I have my next online gathering on Tuesday, August 5th, called Feel Your Deepest Longing, Find Your Spiritual Calling. And this is all connected with what we're talking about here, and you're more than welcome to join us there. Okay, my friends, have fun exploring.